So as the title says, I got massively scammed at a Cardiff boot sale. Or did I? Coming up later in the video, I will show you the item in question. But car boot sale in Wales, Sully. Obviously we were in Wales for the Cardiff card show. The Welsh dudes, the Welsh resellers, Connor and Matt, Welsh Poke Picker and Project Games, asked us if we'd like to go to the car boot. Of course, me and James were well up for it, until I was told we had to get up at 5:30 in the morning. Now, most of the boot sales around me in Cornwall, apart from one, start at about lunchtime or after. So getting up at 5:30 is a bit of a phenomenon for me. We had a fairly early night. I do find it quite hard to go to sleep early. James didn't. He was out like a light. But I watched Rocky and then I went to sleep. Alarm went off. We were awake. It's pretty light outside. So a quick get ready. We drive over, pick up the boys and drive to Sully. They told us it was an absolutely massive car boot. I did warn them that anything I go to for the first time, it's normally the worst time ever, but it was still pretty busy. Actually, they said it was quieter than normal, but there must have been like 20 rows of cars by the time we left. And there was still some cars coming in, but I think we were kind of done because what was happening, there were so many people there buying as well. They were just hoarding all the new people that came in. Every time a new car came, it just got swamped and everything got swallowed up pretty quick. And I already had a bag full of stuff by then. I think James was done. Everyone else was kind of happy with what they'd got, I think. But what I'm going to show you today is my Cardiff haul, if you like. What I got, what I spent, what I think I can make. Now, I spent a grand total of £100. That includes the item in question yet. So I don't know whether I'm going to keep these personally, buy them myself basically, or whether I'm going to take it further. And I'll tell you about those in a minute. Just before I continue though, you may remember on my last video, I showed this little Squirtle badge. I said you could win it by liking, commenting and subscribing. Well, not subscribing, liking and commenting on this video, basically. That's still running. 2 weeks I'm going to run it from when that went live. I'll put the date it went live here, and then the date that that competition will end. I'll then do a draw for it. I won't go live, but I will screen record everything I do, make a video, and I'll either put it out as a short or a separate video. Now back with the haul. So me and Matt walked around for quite a bit together, just chatting and talking. We split up at different times and then we'd meet up with James and then we'd find Connor somewhere and then he'd disappear again. There was hundreds of cars there. They're bigger than any car boot I've ever been to in Cornwall, even when they've been at their busiest. So just spent, you know, some time just wandering around really. Didn't do my normal quick all the way round thing and then slowly round several times. I just took a nice stroll around. I wasn't desperate for any stock. I just picked up anything that kind of took my eye or I fancied having a gamble on. I didn't really use my phone a lot either. Normally, if I'm a bit wary of things, I'll use my phone but I kind of just threw caution to the wind and kind of went with it. A few mistakes, a few things that I won't make a lot of money on. But I think a lot of this is going to end up in the store rather than on eBay because actually a lot of it is store relevant and I think we'll sell in store. So that'll save on eBay fees. I'll start at the beginning. We walked around the top of the car boot and the first thing I saw was a stall that had absolute tons of sets of books. Loads of Narnia books, loads of hardback books, storybooks, just tons and tons of books. They also had some Lego. So I picked this box up and as I picked it up I realised it was like quite badly damaged. They had a £5 sticker on it. So I quickly grabbed that. Because it looked all there, you know, it's just a hole that's not probably even big enough for the bag to fit out of. So I thought I'd grab that. I also picked up this one as well. This one is in much better condition. So this one had £8 on it. So 8 and 5, that's 13. And then I also picked up one of the sets of books. Now this is something I probably could have left, but I wasn't 100% sure what the value on these was going to be. They did have a £5 on it, which I thought was probably a little bit too much. 2 or 3 and it would have probably been all right, but a 5 is probably going to be a bit difficult to make a lot of money back on this. But I grabbed this and I said, would you do the lot for, I think I said 15, which means she'd be knocking £3 off this or that. And she said she'd do 17. So I was like, oh, well, that's £1 off, I guess. I was really mainly interested in these, and I probably should have just stuck at these two, but I went for these as well. Now, it turns out that these Narnia books are not worth an awful lot. I have seen people get £15 for these. I can't remember if that's posted or including postage, but separately they sell for about £2 or £3 each. So I could put these in the shop at £2 or £3 each. I could even put them in the shop at a tenner and try to double my money. They're books, so there's no VAT to pay on those. So I could stick them in the shop for a tenner and potentially double my money. So not a big loss really. They're quite old versions of the books. They're in quite nice condition as well. There's one with a slight crease on the front page. They're Narnia books. I've sold tons of these in the past, but the price does seem to have dropped on a lot of these. I guess because more people are selling them, and people like me are telling you to buy them. But maybe don't buy these anymore. Then maybe the price will go up again, I don't know. However, the Lego's pretty good. This one achieves £20 regularly on eBay. And this one achieves a similar price as well, 15 to 20. I reckon in my shop, I could probably get 20 for this and probably 12 to 15 for this. Maybe a little bit less because of the box damage, but you're probably looking at a minimum of £30 there, and I paid 8 plus 5, so we paid 13. So 13 into 30, not the best, but without having to pay the eBay fees, I should be okay on those. Obviously, they could have been a lot more. It could have been limited edition or anything like that. So the numbers are 42118 and 42119. Lego Technics pullback cars. So 15 to £20, happy days. Maybe even 25 on the box that isn't damaged. I'll have another double check. I had a quick check, but I'll have another double check. But probably be in the store for 15 and 20. We wandered around for a bit. I found a Yu-Gi-Oh card, Mirage of the Nightmare, pretty good condition, not first edition. Picked that up for £1, probably worth a few quid. And also the guy had a couple of books, these Warhammer books. Now Warhammer books can be really pricey. I believe these might be ex-library books, I'm not sure. This one is in not great condition on the cover. Inside's fine. This one, not too bad. Now this one, its RRP was US $8.99. No English price on there. But you can get 10 to £15 for this one. So I could put this in the shop, probably at a tenner. I paid £3 for this. Again, no VAT to pay on this, so if I sell it in the shop for a tenner, I'll double my money. This one, not so good. I paid £3 on this as well. I think he did me the card and these two for a £5. So this one sells for about 5 or 6 quid. So I could probably stick that in the shop for 4, stick that in the shop for 10, so that's 14. The card is probably a £5, so probably 20 quid nearly. So 5 into 20, that's okay. Again, not great, but I just picked up the Warhammer books because although I don't know the price of them all, I know some of them can be really valuable, so it was worth a little gamble. Not hardback, not signed or anything like that, so it was very unlikely that they were going to be a huge amount of money, but you never know, and I can't remember every single book title and which ones are expensive. So I just picked them up. It was worth the gamble. And I knew I could sell them in the shop if worse came to worse. So, you know, we're doing okay at the moment. The bag is filling up slowly. And the next thing we see is a young lad with his parents. Most of the people at the Carboot so far have been pretty friendly. However, this table felt a little bit hostile. The kids seemed cool, but the mum came around the front and she was barging people out of the way. Out my way, out my way. I want to put stuff under the table. It's like, cool, whatever. Yeah, so we moved out the way. And I noticed a bunch of Funko Pops in a bag. And I said to the guy behind the counter, "Excuse me, mate, is it all right to look through this bag?" So he called his son out. His son came out, he popped them all on the table, and he said he wanted a £5 each for them. Again, Funko Pops, I know some of them are vaulted. I know the super valuable ones, I've made sure I've memorized those. There was none of those. There wasn't any vaulted ones that I was aware of. Most of them seemed relatively new, but there was a couple there that I thought I'd take a gamble on. So there was this Dustin, Stranger Things, Camp Nowhere. I remember seeing some of the hats online. They were quite expensive for the Camp Nowhere and the t-shirts ages ago, so I thought he might be worth some money. Turns out he was about 15 to 20 pounds, I think. The kid said he wanted a £5. I said yeah, sure. So there was that one, so that was pretty cool. There was quite a big Star Wars one there as well. I wanted 15 for it, but I left that one behind because I wasn't 100% sure, and I didn't really want to look it up like I was saying. And then this Lola Bunny, I didn't think this one would be worth an awful lot, just because it's Space Jam and just because it's obviously a really high number. But the box did have some crush damage, so I cheekily asked if he would do it for £3 because the box was damaged, and he said yeah. Again, even with the box damage, you'll probably get a tenner for this. Probably just going to stick both of these in the shop, to be honest. I don't often sell a lot of Funko Pops in the shop because the lady downstairs sells them, but because these are just second-hand ones, I think I can probably get away with that without her getting too upset, if at all. I wouldn't buy these to resell like from a distributor or anything because she does them, but I don't think it would be too naughty for me to sell these two. So I got both of those for £8. I think I could probably get 25 to 30 back for those. So again, not huge profits, but they're going in the shop, so it saves the eBay fees as well. I might stick the Dustin on eBay, but again, the box is a little bit worn on the corners and stuff, so I probably won't bother. I just probably put them in the shop and I think they'll sell. I picked up a whole bunch of Pokemon cards, loads of Vs. I fished through this massive box of commons and uncommons and rares and looked through a couple of folders. I said to the dad, would he do £20 for the whole box of commons just because I couldn't be bothered to look through them. There was probably about 2,000 cards in there. He said no. I said, that's cool. Do you mind if I just look through them? We had a really nice chat, really super friendly. Oh, in fact, yeah. So that last stall, the guy behind the stall said to his son, be careful, some of these people will be buying this stuff to resell on their stalls. And the guy behind me goes, doesn't matter if they're paying the price you're asking. And matey behind the stall literally went off. Like literally went off. They had this massive argument. I didn't get any of it on film. James completely missed it as well, so he'll be well upset. Massive kick-off. They shouting at each other, telling each other to go home, and then just stopped. And then we just carried on. Then I bought the Funko Pops and then we left. Next stall, in comparison, the guy, lady and his two kids, really lovely. We had a lovely chat. And while I was there, I also picked up the item in question. I picked up the Pokemon. They only wanted 50p for 20 cards. And obviously I just siphoned out anything that was good there, plus some Vs, some shiny vaults and things like that. But when I finished, I said to the dad, look, here's a tenner, 2 5s, £5 each for the kids. And because the whole lot was going to be less than like £3. It was ridiculous. Like all the commons I took and then the Vs, I mean, maybe a £5 or less. It was not very much. So I wanted to give them some more. So that was quite cool, I guess. They were very, very cool. And while... Oh, I'm going to tell you about that later. So anyway, move on again. I'm going much, much slower now, just wandering around. Things are starting to get a bit cheaper. I did find a lot of the things I asked for quite expensive, so I had to pass on them. Otherwise, this pile would be massive. I picked up a few plushes. I picked up this Build-A-Bear Toothless. Dude said he wanted 5. I said, would he take 4? He said, yeah. Looks like you can get about £15 for this, so I'll just stick him in store. He's got his wings as well. It's important that he's got those. You can get accessories with these, and there are lots of different versions of this. Some of them are quite expensive, not Build-A-Bears necessarily, but the Toothless. So yeah, I'll probably stick him in store for 12 or 15, paid 4, so I'll double or triple my money on that. I also picked up this, which was quite cool. This is Dino, the dinosaur from the Flintstones. The lady who I bought it off said, do you know who that is? I was like, I think so. I mean, he looks a little bit kooky. He'll definitely sell in the shop. I paid £1 for him. He'll be an easy tenner. Someone's 100% going to buy that. He's sick. Good condition. yeah, nothing more to say about that. That's an easy tenner in the shop. So again, he won't bother going on eBay. I also picked up this Squishville Farmers Market set. Now, it is missing one of the plushies. There's supposed to be... I've got 5 there. There's another one somewhere, probably in the bag. Somewhere in there. There's supposed to be 7. I have 6. Maybe I have 5 now. A full set of this new will cost you over £40 or something. I think there's one on eBay at 40. I paid 50p for this. I reckon that's an easy 20 to 25 pound, even with the missing one. Maybe not the missing 2, but let's say 20. He's not staying in. £20, I reckon that's an easy £20. So, but I'm going to find the other one and it'll be 25. Maybe 30, who knows. So 50p into 30. So these Squishville sets are quite good. I also picked up a second one, so I might even put them together. Now, this is the glamping set. Comes with this character, I think. Maybe. Also comes with a chair and this sort of like sleeping bag. The chair's missing. I think there's another character that's supposed to be in with this missing. This guy. This guy might meant to be with that set. I can't remember. I'm sure I had one for this set. I've totally messed it up now, but I think this one as well was about £20 complete, maybe even £30 complete, £40 new. Really quite expensive, so well worth keeping an eye out for. I might even do these 2 as incomplete, but with all the characters. Might even put it up for like £40 for the set. So that was £1 into potentially up to £40. So that was a super good buy. It's just a shame it had the missing dudes. I also picked up this optical gaming mouse. I don't really know why. I don't normally pick them up unless they have some gubbins on the bottom. This doesn't even have a name on it. So I think it's just a cheapy one. Probably a tenner or something. I might just take it down the charity shop because I don't know if I can be bothered with it. I couldn't really find anything on it. Probably a bad buy. Let's put that one down as a bad buy. So I paid £2 for that. Don't ask me why. I got excited when I saw it and then I just forgot that I'm supposed to look up the brand and the make and the number and make sure it's 1080 IP or whatever. And I didn't do any of that. I just paid her the £2 and then I was like, why did I do that? You might do that at the Carboot too. I picked up the only other Lego thing I saw, which was this, is he Darth Maul keyring? 50p, should be able to put him in my cabinet and get £4 for him. So 50p into £4, that's 8 times my money after fees or after tax. I should make a couple of quid on that, but it's just another nice thing to put in the cabinet. And then also some Playmobil. So lots of good branded stuff today. Lego, Playmobil, Funko, Squishmallow, Build-A-Bear, all the good stuff. All the good stuff. So I didn't see this the first time we went round at the top of the field, but this is basically just a Playmobil pirate set. It does have a number, 5864, I want to say. A boat, a cannon, lots of accessories, so potentially missing bits. There was a few missing weapons. Again, paid just £1. Should be able to get an easy tenner for that. Again, I can put that for sale in our Lego cabinet. I know it's not strictly Lego, but it's as close to Lego as you can get without being Lego or fake. There was a guy selling fake Lego at the Carboot, but he was being completely open about the fact that it wasn't real, because I was like, dude, these are cheap. And he was like, oh, it's not real. So, and he had signs up and everything. So totally legit. But definitely copied. But he wasn't trying to rip anyone off, which was nice. But all of the stuff there was really cheap. Like he had all of his figures were like 3 for a £5. If anyone wanted a cheap option of stuff, that was a great store to go to. I didn't grab anything off there. He did have some cool Dragon Ball figures that I nearly bought for my son, but I completely forgot to go back and buy them, to be quite honest. So that was pretty much everything I bought. 2 more things to show you. One's just super cool, and one, well, you'll see. So on my last circle round, oh, actually, no, I actually found another lad selling some Pokemon. Now, he had the Charizard level X, this one here. Really lovely lad, We had a cool chat. Matt bought some cards off him too. The only problem was his folder was absolutely full of fakes. And I never want to say to kids like about their cards being fake, because they might not know and they might get quite upset if they're quite young. I would say he was probably around 8 or 9. He was sitting next to his parents' stool, and he had his whole little setup out. And I saw this card in his folder and it looked totally beaten up. And I was like, oh no. So I asked him if I could take it out the folder. He said, yeah, and it was in a sleeve. Now the sleeve was all crumpled and creased. And I thought, I wonder if the card's going to be the same. So I pulled the card out and there was just a little bit of peeling in the bottom corner. And I didn't notice until I got home, but there's a slight little crease in the card. I might be able to show you that here as well. Now, I said to him, how much do you want to sell this card for? And he said, £10. And I said, yeah, I can do that. He said, or 15. So he was a little bit of a haggler. And I said, look, I would pay you more for this card if it was in good condition, but because it's in quite bad condition with the peeling, there wasn't a huge amount of whitening on the card, just this peeling at the bottom. I would be happy to meet you in the middle and pay you £12.50, because I think I can sell the card for probably around 25, even in the condition it's in. With the added crease, maybe 20, but it's all dependent on the person buying it. I will put it in my shop folder. I'll probably put £25 on it. And if anyone offers me anything close to that, I'll probably just accept it. I might even put a bit more on it. It's quite a hard card to get hold of. It's quite rare. And for someone's binder collection, I think they'd probably pop on 25, maybe 20. But pay £12.50, probably a little bit too much with the little crease in it. But, you know, it was for a kid anyway. So I didn't want to lowball him too much. So I got that anyway. So that's quite nice. Just something nice to pick up. And then the last things I picked up were this. Now, anyone that knows my store knows that I have a life-size Sully and Mike Wazowski in my store. Sully's a bit hidden at the moment, but Mike's on display. And I saw this Boo. Now, at the moment, I have a sign in my shop that says Boo from Halloween, and I have that in front of Mike. But no one I don't think a lot of people get the reason why it's there, because obviously you've got Sully, Mike and Boo. But now I have a Boo. So Boo is going to stand up with Mike. We're going to have to sort her hair out because it's falling out all over the place. So we're going to sort her hair out. Supposedly she works, but she doesn't work at the moment. She's battery powered. She normally comes with her little Mike teddy bear, but he's missing. She does have all of her clothes and her socks though, which is quite nice. If she works as well, ideal, but if not, it doesn't matter. She's got little beads in her hair as well. I've seen these selling for about £20 on eBay, with and without the accessories. I paid £3 for this, but she's not for sale. She's just going to go in the shop. And because she's so small, she kind of is going to be quite good. I mean, she's a little bit small, to be honest. She could do with being a bit bigger, but it's a good size comparison for the Mike and the Sully, because she's going to make them look like absolute monsters. So there we go, £3 into 20, but we're keeping this one. So that's cool. I saw this across the Carboot and I just sprinted across and grabbed it because I was like, I was not going to miss out on that. So there we go. Complete set of 3 statues for the shop. I've never seen that before, so that was quite cool. Now, the last item that we're going to talk about is, well, I'll give you a bit of a background. So I was at the stall buying the Pokemon cards. I'd mentioned to James that I needed a new pair of shoes because I generally only buy my shoes from Carboots now because you can get quite good pairs quite cheap. You do run the risk of buying fakes and things, but as long as you're not paying too much, you're probably okay. I had a really nice pair of Nike Air Max, black, yellow and white. I've had them for about 2.5 years and they've completely fallen to pieces now. All my shoes tend to fall to pieces. I don't know why. It might be the way I walk, might be the fact that I just only wear one pair at a time and I wear them whatever I'm doing. I bought another pair of Nike Air. I think I paid £2 for them. And they were fine to start with. maybe for like a week or so, and then they really started smelling quite awful. I don't know why. I don't normally have smelly feet, but the shoes absolutely stunk. Used Febreze in them, did all the stuff, and then I went back to wearing the other shoes. I suppose that's a risk with buying shoes from a car boot. You don't know who's had them before, and you don't know where they've been. But when my Nike Air Max fell to pieces, I didn't have any other shoes, so I was like forced to wear these shoes again, and I completely forgot that they were smelly shoes. Smelly shoes, smelly shoes. So I was like, oh damn, these stink again. And I said to James, right, I'm going to buy a new pair of shoes this weekend. And there was these shoes sitting next to me while I was looking through the Pokemon. And I was like, they look quite nice. And while I was looking through the Pokemon, I think about 12 people picked these shoes up and asked how much they were. And the guy said they're £50. He said they were like £200 new. And I was like, oh, all right, fair enough. And I said to him after this last guy came up, I said, how much, what size are the shoes? I said, what size? He said, oh, they're a 9. And I was like, oh, they're my size. And I'm sort of like 8.5 to 9. And I was like, but they are quite nice. I didn't really know what they were. I knew they were Nike Air. I didn't know what type of Nike Air. So I said, well, did you do 40 on them? He said, yeah, right. And he just put them in the back of his truck. Literally about 5 seconds later, the guy came back, the last guy that asked, and said, would you do them for 40? And I thought, well, he's been off and he's looked on his phone to see how much they're worth. Now he's come back. They're gone. So guy behind the thing was like, snooze you lose. So I was like, cool, new pair of trainers for me. They were 40 quid, so I thought, yeah, it's a little bit expensive, but they're really nice, and didn't really think anything more of it. Anyway, paid for the Pokemon, paid for the shoes, left. As I was walking around, I said to James, oh, I bought a new pair of trainers, and I showed him them, and he said, oh, they're fake. 100% fake. I was like, oh. But never mind, it doesn't matter. They're for personal use only. I got my phone out, and I did a bit of research on these. Now, these are Travis Scott Air Jordans, Cactus Jack ones. They're very cool looking. They're high tops or mid tops. You got the backwards swoosh, the forward swoosh, Nike Air on the front, suede or suede feel. Yeah, very nice. Now, I looked these up online, and you're looking at around £800 for a pair of these. Obviously, I did not know that when I bought them. I don't know why everyone put them back down. It might have been because they were fake. I have no idea. Now, I've started watching, James was sure they were fake. The stitching looks immaculate on these. There are no mistakes on these at all. Everything looks fine. But the only thing that really put me off was the fact that they had a size 10 sticker in them, but I don't know if someone's just put that in them or if that's, and these say size 9 on them. So that is probably the biggest thing. Now, James said he tried them on and they were very tight on him, and he's a 9. I tried them on, I'm an 8.5 to 9, and they felt snug. I don't know what the fit of these are normally. And I started to watch some videos on how to tell fakes of these. One of the ways they said was, now I don't know if they're right, because I've seen a lot of these on eBay authenticated. Now I don't know if they get authenticated once they've been bought or they get authenticated before they're bought. But one of the things they said was, on here, there's the copyright symbol. Now, if there is even a gap between that copyright symbol and the swoosh, they are fake. The real ones will be touching the swoosh. Tons of the ones I've seen on eBay have that gap, and it says authenticated on them. Then they said about this text on here, with the made in China, there being a gap in the made in China, the gap being bigger. Again, I've seen lots of authenticated ones on eBay with that. Now, they also said that the fake ones, the brown looks more olive, whereas this looks fairly brown to me. Also, on other websites, it said that this would be flat and not embossed. Now this is embossed. The suede also moves as well. They also mentioned about the swoosh tick being slightly higher than the eyelet. Like the fake ones, they come in lower. This one is higher. And they also mentioned about the label inside as well, on the side not having a QR code. This one has a QR code. Also made in China, but made in China is right on Air Jordans. On Nike Air Max, I think it's Vietnam. So I just don't know. I mean, I don't want them to be fake, but they probably are. But I even looked up the fakes, and on Etsy you can buy a fake pair of these, but they'll still cost you £130. Even at £40 for a fake, they're still quite good. They're just really well made. That's the only thing that's throwing me at the moment, is the stitching is so good. The movement of the suede. Really no mistakes on the stitching at all. I don't know, probably fake. But in a way, I would quite like them to be fake, because then I can wear them without fear of wearing a £900 pair of shoes, which I would never ever do. So I just need to authenticate these. So if anyone knows any other ways to authenticate these, please let me know. I'm gonna, and also when you send off shoes, I'm sure John Luke would know this, maybe Stacey as well. If you have shoes authenticated, it says the little authenticated thing on them, do you have to do that first? Like, do you have to send them away? Do they get authenticated? Or when someone buys them, are they authenticated and then shipped on? I don't know how that works. I've not looked into it. I could probably look into it, but if someone wants to answer me that or private message me and let me know, that would be super cool, because I want to know if I can wear these or if I should be trying to sell them for like £800-900. If these are authentic, James is going to be literally kicking himself. If they're not, no big deal. I got them essentially a third of the price that I would have had to pay if I'd have wanted these. And at the end of the day, if they don't fall to bits, I got another new pair of shoes, fairly cheap. I mean, even an authentic pair of shoes, like a good pair from the like Sports Direct, is probably going to cost me like £60 to £80. I don't want to spend that much money on shoes ever again, just because they don't last that long. No, for me anyway. I bought a pair of Timberlands once. They lasted me like 6 months. They just fell to bits. I bought them from a shop and I was like, right, that's it. That's the last pair of trainers I buy from a shop. All the ones I bought from Carboots have lasted me years, 2 to 3 years each, apart from smelly shoes, which I want to get rid of because they're smelly. But they were like £2, so it doesn't really matter. So there we go. Was Duty selling fake trainers? Did he know he was selling fake trainers? Did he buy them for £200? He didn't have the box. He didn't have a receipt. I didn't really question him on where he got them or anything, because at the end of the day, I just liked them and I thought 40 quid was probably all right for them. What do you think? Fake, real, keep, sell? Do you like them? I think they're cool. They might be a bit hot for the summer. I don't know. But there we go. So yeah, I went to a Cardiff car boot sale at Sully and I bought these trainers. Is James right? Am I right? Who knows? Anyway, if you have any information on these or any way to check they're fake or anything about the authentication, just let me know. I spent £60, £100 with those. Not sure what I'm going to do with those yet. £60 on the rest of these items. Should be able to get about £130. So spent 60 into 130. Most of it's going to be sold through the shop, so there's going to be no eBay fees on that. Would have been an extra £20 with the boo, but I'm keeping that. Got to spend some time with some awesome people again. Thank you to Matt at Project Games for just hanging around with me at the car boot. Thanks to Connor, he bought some cool stuff as well. I'm sure he'll have that on his channel. And thanks to James for just being James, basically. We had a fantastic weekend. Although the card show wasn't great for me, I really enjoyed the time with everyone. Really enjoyed the car boot. It was such a lot of fun to be in a different place doing a car boot with different people. Seeing how they bought things as well was really interesting, or they didn't buy things was really interesting. and just being somewhere different. That is another video done. If you haven't watched any of my other videos or you're new to the channel, I've got plenty of videos, plenty of content. Here's a couple more you could watch. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, like, and leave me a comment. Remember to enter that competition on the other video. I'll put a link in the description down below, and I'll see you next time on the channel.